I think you. Let me interject in here. You're sort of right. I can recall my freshman year at Syracuse. The only other, all my professors that were of color were in Afro American Studies, and that became my major. That was professors. I had TAs, that were black, and like you said, when the students yell, we need more black professors. You're right. We need tenured black professor, someone who's going to be there. And you're right about this. There's a difference between dating and being married, because when you have tenure, someone that can be there and then hopefully, cause some change within there, change your mind to the many people they're teaching to, reflect.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, I think that black students have a right to have professors that look like them, and they should not have to just go to African American studies to get that. And I think that is a fair and fundamental right. I don't think that I'm outrageous or a bad person for bringing that up, but you'd be shocked at the reactions that you get just for I could make that comment in the most polite, humble way that I possibly can, but yet people are still going to feel like you're a troublemaker because of that, and I accept that. Then fine, I feel like, hey, I'll go out here and say it. And then maybe someone else will benefit from what I've said, because as I said, I don't know how this is going to end, but I don't think it's going to end pretty. I know that the chancellor's office has been very a little more contentious toward me since the Bill O'Reilly episode, which I didn't cause. I didn't ask Bill O'Reilly to chase her down the street. I didn't make anything up about Bill O'Reilly, as he tried to say, and Keith Olbermann supported that the fact that everything I said was true. However, the reality is that the situation with us has gotten contentious, but what I'm hoping is that maybe during my time here, however long that lasts, then maybe I can change this environment for the better, because our students deserve better, and that's just the fact.
Ken, I have one last quick question. Why Syracuse University? Because if I remember correctly, I thought you had decided to leave Syracuse and break off your relationship with the university. So since you're not an alumni of Syracuse, I'm just wondering why Syracuse, because there are plenty of other schools. Not that we don't want you. I'm just wondering why Syracuse. What is your making you have some type of feeling of commitment to the students?
I don't know. I guess it's because you just sort of you just grow attached to where whoever's around you. I mean, I guess if I were at the University of Oklahoma, I'd still be doing the same thing. And now you asked about when I was planning to leave. I was going to leave, and part of the reason I was going to leave, one was because I was going to get married, and unfortunately, she wisened up and realized that I wouldn't make a very good husband with as much as I work and all this other stuff. But at that time, I felt, okay, I've got to make some decisions and some sacrifices now. I can't necessarily jump into the battles that I want to jump into because I need to think about other people. And so what happened was, when I wasn't going to get married, I said, well, okay, now I can go back and I can actually fight for the things that I really want to fight for, because faculty who have a spouse and children, they can't get out there and kind of go to war on these issues that we all kind of, that kind of affect all of our hearts. So I kind of enjoy being able to do that, having the money and the resources and the other things that I need to kind of, fight for things that I feel are going to help people. Now, in terms of, why I stayed at Syracuse, a lot of it's because I give Syracuse credit in the sense that this was a great place to start my career. When I went into media, I mentioned to you earlier that it was probably easier for me to break in because all the producers knew of Syracuse's Newhouse School. And that was when I noticed how great Newhouse was. And also a lot of my interns are from Newhouse, and they've helped me far more than I've helped them. So I've loved that part of being at Syracuse. The other thing is that I'm kind of a person who can adapt to any environment. If I went to China, I love China so much. If I could go to China and live in China for 10 years and not even flinch. I pretty much I'm a simple person in the sense that you give me a place to live, you give me an internet connection, you give me a good computer, I can rock and roll for the next 5 years. So effectively, Syracuse has been a place where I really don't feel compelled to complain so much about what's going on here. I mean, I'll observe it and I will speak upon it, but it's not so much a complaint in the sense that I don't ask them for anything. I don't need them to give me any extra money. I don't need them to give me any extra resources. Just get out of my way and kind of let me just do what I'm going to do. And so I got here, I planted my roots, and I got to work, because life is short, and my fundamental belief is that you don't have much time here, and so you got to get going on whatever it is that you want to do. I'm 37 years old. Dr. King was 39 years old when he died. So in my mind, I might not have that much more time left. So I'm here at Syracuse. I'm going to just do my thing while I'm here. Will I be gone, in the future? I don't know. But I can say that that I'm committed to what I'm doing, and I do have an attachment to the alumni and to the students here on this campus.
Was your decision, or is your decision about your future at Syracuse, was that affected at all by Dean Kantner's statement supporting your right to speak out on issues, even if they didn't necessarily represent the position of the university?
No, because my indications from talking to other people is that I wasn't getting that much support from the chancellor's office. I mean, the statement was released, but then there was another statement released the first time Bill O'Reilly kind of tried to broadside us, which was last fall. And in that statement, she officially separated the university from my words. And I didn't really think about it at the time. I just sort of take the stuff as it comes. It doesn't really affect me that much. But some of my colleagues who weren't black, actually, they said, do you know that in all the years that people have made controversial statements on this campus, never once has the university ever gone out of its way to extract itself from the words of one of its faculty? They said this is the first time they've ever done this, and the sort of a consensus agreement was that when you're talking about race, a lot of these rules change. If I were out here and I were working for PETA and doing controversial things to save the whales or something like that, that would be interpreted very differently from me sort of speaking on issues related to race or related to black males. For example, once I wanted to bring in a financial scholar to talk about the financial implications of the capitalist dimension of the prison industrial complex. In case you don't know, now corporations have an incentive to build more penitentiaries, and they now make a profit off of the number of inmates that they put in these prisons, which affects John McCain's new policy when if he becomes president of wanting to build more prisons and put more police out on the streets and putting people in prisons for longer periods of time. Now we have a direct financial incentive to incarcerate more people, and we all know that black men are the ones who are being incarcerated the most. So I wanted to have a speaker come in and really talk about that, and this person was a financial speaker. But, the dean wasn't hearing that, and so it was primarily because it relates to an issue that the world doesn't really want to deal with. So my challenge has always been to the chancellor, okay, if you really want to embrace scholarship and action, how serious are you really about this? If you really want to deal with the real issues that affect our society, how serious are you about this? And the truth of the matter is that as idealistically serious as she might want to be or anybody else, because I do believe Nancy Cantor's a good person, don't get me wrong. I'm separating what I'm saying now with how I feel about her as a human being. The truth of the matter is that it's not financially convenient for the university to really truly address these ideas, or the issue of black families and the massive wealth extraction being done by the NCAA, by the fact that they don't have to pay their athletes, but yet their coaches are making literally over $1 billion a year from the actions of athletes whose mothers can't even pay the rent. That's a real problem. That's a real issue. But I mean, does the university have a financial incentive to truly deal with that issue? Heck no, because they make over $20 million a year from the basketball and football programs. Why in the heck would they ever really want to thoroughly investigate that?